So, what the hell? That's what I've been asking myself all day today. And no, it's not about my office turned storage room with my little computer in the corner. Hopefully, this will get cleaned up, but we've been here 2.5 years, and I think I've collected more Christmas ornaments behind me than anything else. No, I've been asking myself that today about embattled Arnold Mayor Karen Peconi. Embattled Arnold Mayor. That's her new honorific if you read the news anymore. She's up to it again. For those of you that don't know, that Mayor Peconi made a fool out of herself in June by making a Facebook post. June 19th, police in East Pittsburgh, specifically one officer, fatally shot a 17-year-old who was unarmed in the back as he was fleeing. That 17-year-old was Antoine Rose. And Mayor Peconi couldn't help herself because the people of East Pittsburgh and soon a lot of people in the region who were just tired of police brutality and the idea of a white officer shooting an unarmed black teenager in the back decided to have peaceful protests in and around the city of Pittsburgh. So Mayor Peconi on Facebook decides to say, bring the hoses. And also of the protesters themselves, none of them work, and that's how they can do this at 7 a.m. I guess Mayor Peconi was tired of the highways being blocked, even though she only commutes 6 blocks to work. So, obviously, people were a little bit upset about that. And if you don't know the background and you don't know why, those comments about the water hoses go back to the Birmingham campaign of 1963. And for those of you that might have missed a whole lot of history class, the Birmingham campaign had a lot to do with Martin Luther King Jr.'s movement to end segregation and to find equality for the black community in America. And Birmingham, Alabama was a really rough place to be at the time if you weren't white. The Public Safety Commissioner, Eugene Bull Connor, was described by Time magazine as an arch segregationist. He was a racist bastard. He really was. When people decided to protest peacefully in the streets for equality and for an end to segregation, his solution was to have the Birmingham Fire Department turn water hoses on them. And I'm not talking your garden hose, I'm talking full blown fire hoses. And to have the police sick dogs on peaceful protesters. So Mayor Peconi, being of her age, shall we say, was definitely around when this was happening and would have known the history of the comments that she was making. Now, on top of that, Mayor Peconi, or Mayor Karen Peconi Barocchi, has kind of an interesting tie with local law enforcement in the city of Arnold. Her son, Wes Barocchi, is an officer on the force. And one of her first acts of mayor was to promote a friend, Eric Doubt, to chief of police from the position of patrolman, and thereby unceremoniously demoting the acting chief of police, Shannon Santucci. So, the mayor seems to think that when it comes to the police force in Arnold, that she's pretty much boss hog and she can do what she wants. So imagine how little surprise there was today when I saw this Facebook video posted by Facebook user Abdul Haq showing Mayor Peconi playing police officer. So here we see a City of Arnold police car parked with its lights on. And as Abdul pans right, we see Mayor Peconi, and around her neck is what appears to be an actual police officer's badge. We pan back to the police car, and when Abdul asks the mayor if she is in fact a police officer, she asks him to stop recording. So you might be asking yourself, why is it such a big deal that the mayor of Arnold is hanging out next to a police car with its lights on, wearing a badge? And to be honest with you, it's a big deal because it's not something that she's supposed to be doing. She impersonating a police officer is a crime in Pennsylvania. regardless of who you are. Unless you're a cop, you're not allowed in the car, you're not allowed to wear the badge. And in Pennsylvania, it falls under the same class as impersonating a public servant. So punishment's about the same as if I were to walk into Arnold and pretend to be the mayor. Essentially, it is a second degree misdemeanor, and if you're charged, you could face up to 2 years in prison and up to $5,000 in fines. And as I'm sure you can guess, with all of the cases of police impersonation that have happened recently, it's being taken pretty seriously if somebody is caught doing this. Now, I'm not saying that she was doing anything wrong. She might have just been hanging out and having fun, but if she's wearing that badge, that just looks bad. It doesn't look proper at all. And the constituents in Arnold, the citizens of Arnold, the people that voted her into office, have already lost all faith in her. After the Antoine Rose Facebook comments about the protesters, she refused to resign her position as the mayor of Arnold in the subsequent council meeting, even though a large number of people were calling for it and council themselves were calling for it. She gave a half hearted apology instead and essentially just spent an hour and a half reiterating the excuse of, I made a mistake, haven't you ever made a mistake before? And you can see my video of the public comment section of that meeting to get a general feel for not only how the people felt, but how poorly she was responding to the situation. Now, Mayor Peconi was elected to office as a Democrat, even though she is a dino. She's a Democrat in name only. Her actions, her policies, her words have been far less progressive than you would expect from a Democratic mayor. And as a fellow Democrat, I feel that she's misrepresenting the party greatly. And even though I live in New Kensington and I can't vote her out of office, I can't wait to see her go.